Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm back with a new reading that I just got the download to share today. And I never intended for this because it just came to me. I was pulling out some cards for myself, and towards the end of the day, like after dinner, I just got a nudge. Um, like a download for me to further share this with the collective because there will be a lot of you who will resonate with this at this time, and it is also timeless. So even if you're watching this 5 years from now, it will still be relevant. Channelings, energy, they are all timeless unless there is a specific event or date that is mentioned, but this will generally be timeless. So it's really an interesting time for me. This is a this story is significant, and I believe a lot of you resonate as well. So it's a very significant time for me where I am being sort of trained to really trust myself and stand in my own lane, stand in my own truth. Time and time again, I found myself being um it's like my ground is being shaken. Like it's like the moment I speak my truth, the divine will just come in and sort of shake the boat a little bit to see if I'm really solid in my own truth. Now that doesn't mean I am being bullied or being mocked by the divine or anything. That's not. That is unconditional love in a firm and grounded way, because I believe unconditional love is not always love and light, namaste, like um, and then you'll get stepped on your toes, and then still namaste and love and light. No such thing. It's all about the dark. No, it's all about the balance, right? So what I meant to say here is that I feel like a lot of us are going through. We are trying to manifest whatever that is in our lives, in the next thing, in the next chapter of our lives. But for some reason, things are just not going according to our plan, not the divine's plan. Our plan, okay, our plan is also in a way divine's plan, but the divine's plan may have other plan, just that it works concurrently. So it's funny because the first card when I pulled, it's from the Cosmic Guidance Oracle deck by Dreamy Moons. Love her deck so much. I really love this deck. And the first card that I pulled, oh, sorry, before I share the cards and elaborate on them, I want to share with you um, the download that I got about half an hour ago. I was writing on my journal that if you follow my Instagram, you'll see this on my story. I just posted it without any explanation because I think it's very self explanatory. So, not sure if the camera can see it, but it's okay if you can't. You can pause to read it if you want to. Otherwise, I'll read it as well. So, it goes like this. It just came to me, although I'm not a poet or anything, so it may not sound very woo, but here goes. Sometimes when things don't show up the way we planned, it is exactly the plan that's going to set things up in motion. It is a plan of the divine. So, ever heard of this quote or whatever that says something like, a rejection is a redirection. A rejection is a form of protection from the divine, from God, from universe, from your higher self. Because we are always so protected, and sometimes the thing that we think we want is the best for us, but actually, it is meant to teach you another lesson. For example, my example today, my plan did not go well today, and I was kind of in a rut for a bit, and I'm getting really, really bad headaches. I don't know, maybe that's another sort of upgrade I'm getting. I don't know what is that, but I feel so inspired to share this after I got a download, and that's when I'm like, oh, let's get my video, my phone, and tripod and the cards out, and let's record this. So the next sentence here, I wrote, be not distracted by the rejections, be inspired by the redirection. So I'm trying to channel more here. Is there anything more? So, as humans, it's very easy for us to be so distracted by what is not working out for us, by the rejections, by the plan not going to plan, not going well, and it feels like nothing's really working for you at this time, and it can be very easy to fall in this spiral of hopelessness and sometimes even bitterness. My cat is going to love it. Look at that, so cute. um, we can get into that state, and I understand if you're going through that. I just lost my train of thoughts, but I'm gonna try to connect to the last sentence. Like, he's settling down on my blanket, if you want to see. He loves my blanket. Anyway, as I was saying, we can get so stuck in our heads and lose track, lose sight of what is really trying to be presented to us. The sign, the messages, the lessons that want to come to us. And I was going in circles in my head for a while, and it has been for a few days, and I was so excited. Have I mentioned that I wanted to move out? So I was going to view a place today, and for the I don't know how many times things were redirected again. Long story short, I was browsing places for the past 2 months or so, on and off. Every single time I thought I found somewhere, it got redirected, aka it didn't go well. Basically, couldn't find a suitable place, couldn't find a suitable place within my budget, and maybe the owner does not accept pets. Having pets is non-negotiable for me, so that is probably one of the biggest. I almost say the C word, um, the blocker, but I will not. I will not see it as a blocker anymore. Anyway, coming back to this, it's so easy to get stuck in our heads when things are not going well, when the things that we want to manifest, we want them quick. Um, and it can also be a form of escapism in a way if things are a bit more extreme. But I want you to have so much compassion for yourself, because sometimes the thing that we really want to manifest in our lives, the reason why we want it fast, because unconsciously we thought that it will make us feel better. Perhaps to some capacity it will. And this has revealed to me that there are still things that are being set in motion behind the scenes by the divine. And I'm being asked to really surrender deeper and trust that. You see, my throat, I was kind of burping, and this is telling me that my truth needs to be even more solid. I need to stand firmer into my own truth, stand my ground. So a lot of you probably have some throat chakra blockages as well, where You feel like maybe in your current environment, in your current headspace, home, workplace, relationship, maybe you feel like no matter what you do, you can't really, you don't feel seen. You try to speak your truth and you don't feel seen. It always comes back in a form of maybe abuse, maybe disrespected, or gaslighting, or being fed by a narcissist or something. And it's really hard. But I want to congratulate you. Don't get triggered. Maybe you get triggered, but be open. Celebrate all these milestones, spiritual milestones, because it is exactly what I wrote here. Sometimes when things don't show up the way we planned, it's exactly the plan that's going to set things up in motion. I am getting this download right now as I'm, you know, when we manifest something, we want to manifest something. Um, let's say you want to manifest a new relationship. Okay, maybe right now you're impatient because you're tired of being alone, or you want to have that special relationship. But the reason you're not getting it right now is because there's something else that needs to be aligned. So, in order to become a vibrational match to your manifestation, to your dream relationship, something inside of you that is no longer in a vibrational match has to go out first, has to go out, like out. Because it's like, I'll give you a very random example. It's like constipation. You can't feel good in your asshole when you have constipation. It needs to go out first before you can be comfortable, right? So in this case, maybe you dream of having a conscious relationship, or a relationship that really respects you in every way, and you don't need to feel like you're on guard all the time and defend yourself all the time, which is so tiring. But maybe the reason why you're not getting where you want to be right now in the relationship is because maybe in some ways you are still not being in your own truth. Maybe in some ways you are still gaslighting yourself, not being truthful to yourself. And the divine is moving things in motion behind the scenes, the divine's plan, for you to experience different scenarios in your life to help you heal that part first before you get to your manifestation. And believe it, because you have your desires for a reason. Your desires are meant to happen. Your desires are meant to be here. It's already yours. You just need to trust and work on being a vibrational match for those things. Energy never lie. Even if there's an ounce of some slight mismatch or whatever, it may not turn the way you want it to be. But it is all for a reason, and I want you to celebrate that. Um, as I wrote here, be not discouraged or be distracted by the so-called rejections. Be inspired by it. Like, just ask yourself, ask your higher self, your guidance, what is this teaching me? This is interesting finding that I realized about myself. Right now it's hard for me to embrace it, but I'm open to embrace this slowly but surely. Show me the way, show me what's blocking me, show me the contrast. The lessons in contrast is so powerful. I wrote a full article on this on my Substack. You can find the link in the description if you are curious. But anyways, my example that I can think of right now that just came to me is that if I were to tell my, let's say, early 20s self, that I would be here right now, full pink, really happy and really feel really beautiful in my own skin, really more confidence now more than ever, earning so much more than she did before. Um, like so many things. My younger self would just be like, you will not believe it. My younger self at the time has had the desire to be as confident as I am now, to be as feminine as I am now, and as beautiful and all those things. um, basically in a better place. And right now, to my younger self, I am her higher self. So I'm getting a little bit sidetracked, but what I'm saying here is that trust your desires. Trust your desires. They are here for a reason. Use your desires as a North Star. If I feel like some of you will be thinking like, oh, I want more money. Yeah, I trust my desire to want more money. Dig deeper. The reason why you want more money, it has a deeper meaning to it. And for me, I know why I know I want to manifest more money, even more. It's because first of all, I desire a flowy life, the soft life, the soft girl era. I'm not wired to work 9 to 5, 5 days per week kind, and I am holding on to that vision that I've had for the longest time. A desire is yours if it's something that is with you for the longest time and it feels so natural to even daydream about it. That is like the big kind of North Star. Trust your North Star. If you say you want more money, dig deeper. Why do you want more money? Is it security that you want? Is it a life full of like freedom, passion, doing what you love for a living, but also being compensated so generously just by being you? Dig deeper. That will empower you so much more. Okay. Um, Enough of that. I'm seeing 1717. If that's significant to anyone, I will dive into um the cards now. So it's so funny because the first card that when I was shuffling the cards, a bunch of cards came out. I'm counting the cards. 6 cards came out together, and it felt like, oh, okay, let's see one by one. And the first card that I saw, camera is there. Should look there. The first card that I saw is manifestation, guys. You can't make this shit up. Manifestation, what you desire is on its way. What did I mention just now earlier in the video? Your manifestations, especially if you're doing the inner work along the way. This is specific for some of you, for me as well. I know I've been doing the work a lot. Well, not a lot. I mean, mindfully, yeah, consciously every day. Um, it's hard to see probably that your manifestations are getting further. Probably it's hard to see it right now, but trust that it is all on its way. Your manifestations, things are working behind the scenes, as I've mentioned earlier. And you're not supposed to know every single thing right now. Trust your gut feeling, whatever that is that's coming. Trust your gut feeling. Oh, I'm being highlighted again, short stuff. Trust your truth, your North Star. And when the time comes, whatever the next action step that the divine assigns to you, when the time comes, you will know when to take some sort of action closer to that manifestation. Let's see. Okay, camera doing so well. So you see this lady here, she is so confident. She knows when to strike, when to take some sort of action, even though it may be a bit messy. It says here, awaken the warrior within. So I've been highlighted that some of you are being asked to step up in your, you know, not just feminine side, but also your inner masculine. We all have these inner feminine and masculine energies inside of us. I myself am still learning. I know I'm a feminine core person, and I'm learning to step up in, you know, my masculine role. Just taking care of my life, myself, my inner feminine. So some of you might be wondering, what is feminine energy? So feminine energy is definitely the opposite of masculine energy. It's the polarity that we all have within us. Masculine energy is the side that takes the action, does the planning, does the structure stuff. The masculine energy is the one that solves problems, thinking, analyzing. But it gets imbalanced when we are too much in our heads. So this video, you know, is asking you to nurture your creative energy. That is the next card, nurture your creative energy. Do things that makes you feel creative. Go to a workshop, art creative workshop. Go to, you know, explore your childhood drawings or interests when it comes to creativity. It doesn't have to be art all the time. It can be dancing, it can be writing, and I have a feeling some of you might have a resistance because we're so used to being at where we are right now, and we forgot what is it like to be connected to our inner child, our creative side. Embrace that resistance and try to see how you can melt that resistance, because without you connecting to your feminine side, this is for you, for anyone who is heavily in their masculine side, in their heads. When you've been in your masculine side for so long, your feminine side gets neglected, and it will cause some imbalance, and it will show up in your health issues, in your hormonal issues, disrupted sleep patterns. I'm hearing like vertigo. It will just show up in your physical life. So you're being asked to pay attention to that and try to see what can you do to spark that inner creativity that you have within you that wants to shine. Your inner feminine, your nurturing, your creative, your feeling side wants to shine. And it's important during any manifestation, any point in your life, because your creative side, your feminine side is what attracts that abundance, that manifestation. Because the more magnetic you are, the more you will just attract. Trust me on this. The masculine side definitely cannot be neglected as well, because the feminine and masculine has to work in tandem, right? The masculine is here to set the tone, the structure for the feminine side to thrive, to flow. So I think one of the things that I do with my inner feminine and masculine is that I will observe them, and this is my feminine, this is my masculine. I'll observe them talking to each other, converse with each other. Usually starts with either one of them, like maybe the masculine would say, "What can I do for you to help you, to support you?" My inner feminine would speak how she wants to feel. Maybe she would say, "I feel really tired. I feel emotional. I need your support to hold a safe space for me. And right now, I just need a safe space. I don't need solutions. I don't need analyzing." What the masculine has the tendency to do is to overthink, overanalyze, right? And because of that, it cannot really see what the feminine is going through, what the feminine is yearning for. This happens in any relationship as well, where the man is too much in their heads trying to solve problems for the lady, but the lady is actually just wanting a safe space to be seen, to be heard, to be loved and cherished as she is at that moment. So when the polarity clashes, both will be, in separation, and both cannot work together to create a harmonious union together. And in this case, within ourselves, when the energies are clashing, when one does not support the other or is one-sided, let's say the masculine wants to be respected, um, to be admired, to be respected, but the feminine is probably hurting and she is distancing himself and herself and not willing to open up. When sometimes I find myself not willing to open up my heart, and that troubles my inner masculine because that way he does not know what to do to support her, something like that. So watch them have a conversation. It doesn't have to be too complicated. The feminine side is what you feel. You can Google on the traits of feminine. It can be loving, nurturing, um, emotional feelings. You can look up on that, and for the masculine as well. And imagine this as two parts of you, which are not separate, but they come here to work together, to create that union within ourselves, so that when we are balanced, we become such a powerful force in the universe. So I wouldn't say I'm an expert in this topic, but I'm speaking from experience. That's what I do on a regular basis, where like, the inner feminine part of me feels imbalanced, and I feel unseen or unheard or neglected. Then okay, my inner masculine will try to come in and see how he can support her. But it's still up to your discernment, because sometimes there are deeper underlying issues, like maybe some inner child wounds that need to be addressed as well. But this is about the polarity, the energies within ourselves. So nurture that creative energy within yourself, and don't stop your manifestation. Don't stop as in not to spam your manifestation, your wishes every day to the universe or anything. What I mean is, don't give up. It says here, even though it says don't stop, but I'm getting don't give up. Don't let go completely if it's really, really what you desire. Because at the end of the day, the treasure is just right at some corner. Just keep going, nurture your feminine side, trust your intuition, trust yourself first and foremost. And the next card is remember who you are. Remember who you are. Remember who you are, not what others think or say who you are. This includes your family. This includes your close friends, your partner. I recently posted a podcast on the topic of, okay, some of you struggling for your truth, to speak your truth, but don't stop. Remember your truth. Okay, going back to the podcast that I'm about to mention. I recently posted a podcast episode that talks about, the title is something like this. I hope I remember correctly. I think it's episode 11. It says, people see the world through the lenses of their own beliefs. I highly suggest, if you resonate with this card, go and listen to that. The link is in the description. I think it's in my link tree. You will see my podcast link there. Yeah. So remember who you are. One tip that I can give you right now that is coming to me is that imagine your higher self, your best self, your highest version of yourself, what are they like? What are they like? How do they lead themselves? How do they lead their life? How do they take care of themselves? How do they show up in their lives every day? How do they speak their truth? What kind of beliefs they believe in? You know, these kind of empowering questions um, that will help your, what's that called, your inner guidance to come true. It will also allow your higher self to come true you and give you the, you know, the, what's the word, to give you some, how to say, I wouldn't say idea, but more like just give you an, okay, I'll just use the word idea now for lack of a better word, give you an idea of how your higher self is like, and see how you feel about what you get from it. Because I know sometimes our mind can get in the way because, you know, our minds are weird things. So yeah, I suggest that you get into meditative state and just take a couple deep breaths and visualize the best version of yourself. You can do this every day. You can do this a couple times a week, just in silence, and don't judge what comes. Just let it come and do it many times, and eventually you will get an idea of how your best self is like. So remember who you are. You are your higher self. You are not what others think or say you are. Remember that. So your manifestations are on its way. Take the action and you'll know when it's time. Nurture your creative energy. Don't stop even if you feel like nothing's really working, because that's just what our minds like to think. The ego likes to think when things are not working, it means we should let go. But for your highest desires, don't stop. You can take a break, you can rest, you can pause, do a little bit of something on the side, but don't let it go. Remember who you are, because happy ending is, okay, this is not really exactly a happy ending, but what I'm getting from this card, let's see, okay. It says happy ending, but what it means is that the light is just around the corner. And I'm being reminded to share about the shadow self. I feel like the collective has gone through some really dark night of the soul, ego death recently, and yes, I remember now. So I was being highlighted the word death a few times this week, especially yesterday. It came to me in a very not a very pleasant way, but it was being highlighted to me that a lot of us are going through this phase right now. And ego deaths are, in my interpretation, in my own experience, it means an old chapter is about to end, and I'm entering a new phase, a new chapter of my life. It really varies for everyone. It can be a new chapter of their new identity. Most of the time it is, because ego is the identity, right, itself. And it says here that right now, whatever you're going through, the dark ones, like the ego death or whatever, it is a sign that a chapter is about to end, and you are being asked to celebrate and embrace that. But don't force yourself to do it, because it can bring up resistance, and that is not a good thing. Allow yourself the time and grace to really rest and integrate and grieve whatever you need to grieve, because ego death is really a difficult thing to go through, especially if you're still quite new to this. um, I suggest looking up lonerwolf.com. Lonerwolf.com. That website has so much information, really deep stuff that talks about the ego, the dark night of the soul, ego death, and whatnot, spiritual awakening. They have a lot of amazing stuff there, and I really like that website. If you want to know more for sure, And also, if you happen to stumble this book in any bookstore, I highly recommend this for all light workers, for every one of you who is in this journey of their spiritual journey. Maybe you're in your early stage of spiritual awakening. Maybe you're not. Either way, I think this is like a Bible. This is my Bible, by the way. Every time I flip any page on a book, is mind blowing. I was opening this page, right, this randomly, and it says something like sometimes the pain in your body might seem like the greatest obstacle, because it occupies your mind, it occupies and distorts your thinking, disrupts your relationship. It feels like a dark cloud that occupies your entire energy field. It makes you feel more unconscious, um, and you're totally so identified with your emotions, your feelings, the dark feelings, and that makes you reactive, makes you feel like you're a victim, and it makes you say and do things that you don't mean. It's so powerful because I was faced that yesterday. It was so painful. Anyways, as unhappiness increases, it also causes increasing disruption in your life. So that's why your body right now is going through that upgrade by going through that slow death, and the body may not take it anymore, and you feel like maybe some of you might be feeling a bit ill, more tired than usual, and you're being asked to really listen to your body. I'm getting this because myself, I'm also being asked to listen to my body, and hence one of the action that I took recently is to take a break from social media. Sometimes I'm still there, but it's just to check on some stuff, and within a minute I am out. It feels really good, by the way, for my brain, for my headspace. So at the bottom of the deck, I know this reading is going a bit further, but I know it's going to land and activate so much of you. And please feel free to leave a comment if this resonated. It will help me so much. I will do I will take readings when I'm being guided to, but right now I'm being guided to do the occasional collective reading, pick a card reading, whatever that comes to me. And I'm here to use my psychic gifts to serve, to help all of you who are in this spiritual journey, especially of self love. It all ties together. The journey is also all about self love. You cannot separate yourself from the world or anything else. If you separate yourself, you can't experience the desires that you really desire. Anyways, the bottom of the deck, allow yourself to let go and release whatever that's no longer serving you. So in ego deaths, it can bring up a lot of resistance to letting go. And that often means letting go of your old identity. Give, give us an example. I'm trying to get an example and recall my own memory. So give me a moment, I'm trying to channel it. Example of resistance during ego death. I have a very random example, but I know a lot of you can relate. Okay. Your old identity, my old identity is someone who is afraid of speaking in public, afraid of presentation, afraid of even sharing and putting my face out there right now. I never identified with that many years ago. And at one point in my journey, when I go through an awakening and ego death, at the time I didn't know it's ego death. I just know like, oh, suddenly things change. And when I had to step into this role of someone who has to present something, has to speak up even more. I had so much resistance because I was okay, my ego was trying to hold on to that old identity of, oh, I'm not here to speak up, I'm just here to zip and hide, and be the usual introverted self. Anyways, I was trying to hold on, my ego was trying to hold on to that identity, because that is not just because my old identity is also because it is my comfort zone. So naturally, in any change in life, whenever you go through a transition, any change in life, it will bring up resistance. And I want you to embrace that resistance. Let it come, because the moment you embrace it, it melts the resistance. Allow what wants to come. Be very gentle and patient with yourself during this time, and allow it to let go in such a way that it makes you feel like not like because that it will just not help, right? Just let it go, one breath at a time, and that will melt the resistance slowly but surely. Trust that, because I know most of humanity, most of us love to stay in our comfort zone. I myself included. Sometimes when I'm being faced with change, with transition, my ego, my old identity will be like, F this shit. I am not going there. I'm holding on to my lifespan. The identity is being, my old ego was holding on to its lifespan, trying to stay awake, and and the ego thrives on comfort zone, on what's familiar to them, and what is unfamiliar is considered a threat. But I want you to also know that the threat is not a threat. It's not always a threat. Use your discernment, but it is not always a threat. It is your invitation to your expansion and the next chapter of your life. Newer version of yourself, and one step closer to being your higher self. That is so powerful. So that is all for my collective reading and channeling today. It just flowed so smoothly, even though sometimes my mouth just struggles, but I know it is coming in so fast in here. If you're claircognizant, you will know what I mean. Anyways, I love you all, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for whatever, just being you. Thank you for doing the work, and I'm so proud of you. I'll see you in my next video or podcast. I'll see you around. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and yeah, I'll see you.